Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark on the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1933 French featurette Zero for Conduct.
No. No!
Hey, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm going to review this movie anyway. If this is your first time joining me, I'm reviewing every movie in this book, The 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. Zero for Conduct was directed by Jean Vigo. It is a featurette, which means it is not a full-length film. It is about 43 minutes long. Jean Vigo had a very short career. He died at the age of 29 of tuberculosis. Now, his only full-length film that he did was La Talent, which I have seen before and I did not enjoy. So I went into this movie, a little worried that I wasn't going to like it. Maybe I had a little bit of bias. I was dreading it a little bit, and I will say it was true. I did not really enjoy this film. It was not for me. Jean Vigo did grow up in a household where there was rebellion, where there was anarchy in his family. So he kind of draws upon that for this movie. In this movie, it depicts schoolboys rebelling against strictly, absurdly oppressive authority figures, and it criticizes authority and was very shocking at the time. Vigo used slow motion. There's a very famous scene at the end of the movie where there's like this slow motion pillow fight where there's also some full frontal nudity of boys. He also uses surrealist, dreamlike imagery and improvised and naturalistic performances. The children that he used in this movie were not actors. They were just regular children who were sort of rebellious. This movie taps into the universal feelings about childhood rebellion and unfair authority. It directly attacks the French authority and its institutions. Teachers in this movie are portrayed as buffoons, and the principal is shown as grotesque and a caricature. The children are kind of the people who are smart in this movie. They're the people who are the thinkers, whereas the adults are kind of seen as idiotic, I would say. They definitely are not wise, so it's an unsettling reversal of hierarchy in this movie. The adults are not in any position of power. They are not powerful. They behave like children, and the children are the only ones who are intelligent. Now, in this movie, we have a school where children are being treated very poorly, and throughout in the beginning of the film, we have two boys who are getting back from like a summer vacation, and they're in like this train car, and they're showing all these objects and all these things that they got while they were on vacation, and they're kind of trying to one up each other with the cool things that they received. We then find out that there is a new supervisor slash teacher who's going to be teaching at this school. Now he is kind of the only one who seems like he cares about these students in any way. He's very playful with them. He does like a Charlie Chaplin impersonation. He does handstands where he walks on his hands. He tries to make the children laugh. He tries to make their stay as enjoyable as possible. The children, I think, really take to him. They kind of because he's the only one who really shows them any compassion or any sympathy, whereas the other teachers are very harsh to these students. The students are served very poor food. At one point, they end up having like this food fight with the food because it is just so bad. And then they decide they're going to plan this big rebellion at the end of the movie that starts with like a pillow fight against the teachers, and then later on it comes into more of like throwing things like plates and stuff at the teachers. Aside from that, it doesn't really go anywhere. It seems like at the end of the movie, I don't really see that there's going to be any huge resolution for these children. It's weird because you would think that, I mean, this movie obviously depicts the professors as buffoons. This seems like it's a rebellion that would be easily stopped by a group of teachers, by a group of adults. The principal, I think he's the principal in this movie, he is like a little person, and he has this like very high-pitched voice, and he doesn't seem like he's able to kind of fight back against the students at all, and neither do any of the other teachers. They're kind of pinned down, and they have no really recourse against this rebellion that's happening. But it all seems, in today's world, it all seems very watered down. This movie inspired a lot of other really famous directors and a lot of really other famous movies. It was The 400 Blows was inspired by this film. There's another movie called If, which is also, I believe, in this book. That was inspired by this film as well. So this film did a lot to inspire other directors and other movies, and maybe that's why it's on this list. It's a takeaway because it was one of the first films to do a school rebellion where children are acting out against atrocities that their teachers are doing to them. They're finally standing up for themselves, and they're taking back their lives, basically. I'm assuming that's why it's on this list, because it was so influential to other people, to other directors. But it's, to me, it's, if I'm looking at it at today's lens, there's just so many other films and so many other things that are more topical today. You look at this and you watch this movie from today's lens, and you're like, okay, like, so what? What did I just watch? Like, who cares about any of this? So it wasn't really impactful to me, and I just think that this kind of movie, with this book, The 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, sometimes I wonder, like, what the audience for this book is. And this is the kind of movie where I think, like, who is this book directed towards? Is it directed towards just, like, cinephiles and people who love film history? Are they trying to branch out to the average everyday person who might want to watch some really good movies? But this movie, Zero for Conduct, is not a film that the average everyday person is going to watch and enjoy. They're not going to watch and, like, respect what's going on in the film. They're just going to probably be bored by it and go on to the next thing. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I appreciate what they're doing. I appreciate the fact that it inspired film history. It inspired creators going forward. But I'm just, it just really did nothing for me, if I'm going to be honest. And I was a bit put off by the full frontal nudity of children at the end of the movie. I watched it and I'm like, okay, so I guess this is supposed to mean that this child is finally free. You know, it's supposed to show that he's able to really express himself and to let his hair down, type of thing. And, you know, the whole shedding of the clothes, I can finally be the person that I want to be, type of thing. But it's still, like, it's still child full frontal nudity, and it's very unsettling and very off-putting, and it's kind of like the way the movie ends. I'm not really a huge fan of this. But this is one of the weaker, honestly, one of the weaker movies from the 1930s that I have seen. There's not a whole lot that I can think about that I really enjoyed. There are good use of shadows. I do like the supervisor / Charlie Chaplin character in it. He does provide some levity in a movie that needs some levity in it. But, you know, it's not for me. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Not a huge fan of it. I hope you join me next time when I review a movie called The Gold Diggers of 1933. Thank you.